Today I will inform you on the financial standouts of the Nike company. At the end of this presentation, you will be able to determine whether Nike is a good investment or not. So the first financial highlight that I have is on beta. The beta for Nike is 0.85, meaning that it's not very risky. So this means that you won't lose very much money in the company, but you also won't gain very much. My second financial highlight is the total asset turnover ratio. So the total asset turnover ratio calculates the revenue generated by each dollar of assets a company owns. It's a good way of comparing how efficiently a company has been using its assets in relation to its peers. In this case, we're going to be speaking about Adidas as their competitor. So the total asset turnover ratio for 2019 is 1.65. In 2020, they have 1.19. We can see that they decreased, but that's probably due to lower sales in 2020 revolving around the pandemic. Adidas has 1.3, so they're still doing much better than Adidas. Next, we're going to speak about the BEP, the basic earnings power. This is the raw earning power of a company. Nike declined from 20% to 9% from 2019 to 2020. Adidas is at 12.8% for 2020. Adidas' ratio is higher, but Nike generates a much higher revenue, so this is not much of a concern for us. Our other financial highlight is return on invested capital. This measures the total return that the company has provided for its investors. So 2019, Nike had negative 229.98%, and in 2020, they had negative 41.90%. These negatives seem to be startling. We feel like maybe this is not good for the company, which it probably isn't, but it's not that big of a deal considering how large of a company Nike is and how large a revenue they make. They've also drastically increased this and made the numbers much better. And the fact that they were able to do that during a pandemic speaks a lot for them. This low number is probably due to debt, but all large companies have a lot of debt, and some of them have this in their investments and capital. So lastly, we're going to look at the stocks. If we look at this one is the entire max. This is from the 80s all the way until 2020. So you can see that Nike has steadily been increasing throughout the years, and they continue to go up and get higher and higher. It's a very exponential growth. Over here we have a graph showing this year. This past year, they also have steadily increased at a constant rate. So my final analysis on the Nike company is that, yes, Adidas may look stronger in their ratios, but when you compare their revenues, Nike has a much higher revenue, therefore it isn't much of a concern. They're a low-risk company, so you're not going to lose a lot of money in this company if something were to happen. Also, you're not going to worry about that. Lastly, they have a constant growth, as we saw in the stocks, and they've been able to stay strong even during a pandemic. So there's not much to be concerned about. So I recommend that you invest in Nike.